Let's move over to Sunday Scaries. We started with Garrett Wilson for Weekend Warriors, but his teammate Breece Hall tops the Sunday Scaries list. Matthew, the Jets can't run the ball right now.
Yeah, what's going on here?
They can't run the ball.
Is that what it is?
And Breece doesn't look confident. Even there was a couple times where it was blocked up yesterday, and he was not hitting the hole. It was notable.
Is Breece Hall still an every week must starter next week at home against Buffalo, then at Pittsburgh, at New England, home to Houston, back-to-back games with only 12 touches, third straight game with a target share below 15%. He's averaging 3 yards per carry this season, Connor. Over his last 2 games, he's averaging 5.3 fantasy points per game. Next week, if you have Breece Hall on your team, I don't care who else I have on my team, or are you at least thinking about it for a second?
I think you got to ride it out. It's just, he was getting touchdown equity in the beginning of the year, the first couple of weeks of the year. Rodgers will still dump the ball off at times, unless we get any news that something is bothering Breece Hall. And he does not look like the guy from last year physically, but until we get that news, I'm just going to ride it out.
I think you're right, too, but the fact that I have to ask the question sucks. This is not good. I mean, like, he's been bad. Like, if that guillotine league that I was mentioning, where I need Rashid Shaheed to have a nice game, like, it's because Breece Hall.
Yep.
Like, we're down to like
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're down to, it wasn't a full 18-team league, so we're down to like 6 or 7 teams, and every team is pretty good. And so to have somebody like Breece Hall get you, 6.7 fantasy points, is like, anyway.
Well, and the problem is if he doesn't get going, there's a Braylon Allen question looming. That's what's scary. It's not like we don't have anyone else.
Yeah, he's very good.
All right, Jay, how about George Pickens? Not only 7 targets, caught 3 of them, 26 yards. He wouldn't play the full snap share, which was a big storyline after this game.
Yeah, got to see the Steelers offense up close and personal in the stadium last night. Wasn't great, wasn't super exciting. And this is just the George Pickens experience. Like, I think he has more pedigree than he has actual realized NFL production. And look, you're going to get the games like last year where he goes 4 for 195 and 2 touchdowns against the Bengals. You're also just going to have to withstand these games where he's 3 for 26 and does nothing. He's just, at this point of his career, he's just an inconsistent player.
He was the same guy in college, so I don't really expect this to change, Matthew.
The only thing that could change is I think Russell Wilson's their starting quarterback next week.
Wow.
And so
declared it.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, you heard it on the broadcast as well. They were talking about it. I'm going to declare it. I'll declare it. I think that was awful. That was a game the Steelers should have won and didn't. And the reason they didn't was honestly Justin Fields was in a big way. And so
trade for Baker Mayfield back in our league if I've got Justin Fields.
But to that point, if you've been using, we'll talk about Russell Wilson tomorrow on the waiver wire show, but I will say this, yes, if you've been using Justin Fields as your fantasy starting quarterback, which I get, he's still, even in a bad game, he put up 15 points last night. I think he loses his job this week.
Okay.
This division's slipping away. The way the Ravens are going, like, you can't. He lost them that game last night. He couldn't hit basic throws to convert third downs.
Wasn't great. He was good last week, though. I think they give him another week, but I don't have any inside information. I'm just going off performance.
I know they like Russ. I know they like both guys. Pittsburgh likes both guys.
It felt like whoever started, there was always going to be a quick hook to the other guy, and I felt that way if Russ started the year.
It felt like it was going to go the other way, and it's just
I thought
worked
that's
out
how it was going
strangely.
to happen.
Yeah, right. I mean, anyway, so just that's the only hope for Pickens is that maybe Russ, but it's clearly he's inconsistent, and that team, regardless who's under center, is going to run the ball. Tough game for Deontay Johnson. I'm shaking this off again. Only an 18% target share, but on the road to Chicago. That's a very tough place to play. They're at Atlanta. They're home to Atlanta next week. That should be more of a shootout. I'm hanging tough with Deontay Johnson. I'm not with Courtland Sutton, right? Third game this year with 8 or fewer fantasy points. He's averaging just 44 receiving yards per game so far this season. He's wide receiver 59. Courtland Sutton is somebody who is very touchdown dependent. And even when he's touchdown dependent, it's usually 40 yards and a touchdown. He's just not a big volume guy, and I just don't see Bo Nix getting him to fantasy relevance.
It's a training wheels offense, and you don't bet on a training wheels offense in fantasy, and Courtland Sutton, unfortunately, is stuck in one. One last one here, Jay. David Njoku catches 1 of 3 passes for 14 yards. I wouldn't want to touch anything on this Browns offense.
If you had David Njoku, you would have gotten quite a fright when the graphic flashed after Jordan Aikens scored the touchdown that David Njoku had scored the touchdown, but alas, it was not. Look, first game back, the issue is Deshaun Watson might be the worst quarterback in the NFL at the moment.
He's he's the worst starter.
Yeah. And I think he just submarines everything on that team until further notice.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.